Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ched Talks. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We have a fantastic show for you tonight. I have a great guest that I'm going to tell you all about and bringing him in a minute. Ched Talks, I started not too long ago. The purpose of it, particularly tonight, is to talk to millennial entrepreneurs more specifically. I wanted to talk to them about a story. I want to give them a story of this most resilient person, one of the best you'll ever know. Once we discuss and get a little bit further into his story, you'll see what I mean by it. But tonight, I'm really going to bring him in a second. I want you to be mindful. We're brought to you by Hookshot Productions tonight, and I really want you to tune in, listen to him, and please, if you have any questions, bring us. Feel free to pipe in, and we'll answer it the best we can. My guest, his name is Gavin Pierce. He's an artist, and he is, like I said, one of the most resilient person. Had a tremendous thing happen to him in his life, and we're going to bring him in. Thank you, Gavin. And here we go. There you are. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, glad you could be with us. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and so we can get this to flow as best as we can. I want people to really hear your story. I want you to be as impactful as you can, be as honest and open as you can. If it'll help you, and I'm sure it's going to help some of our viewers out there.
Yeah,
so tell me a little bit about you and why you're here tonight.
Well, my name is Gavin Pierce, and I grew up in the Kingston, Galway area. It has a reputation for itself, but
Right.
A lot of good and bad people here. But I think that it's kind of misunderstood, and I feel like I've seen a lot growing up in this area, and I think a lot of kids are looking at this area from a same point of view I am, and I haven't been able to tell their story. So,
right. So you grew up in the Galway area. Tell me a little bit about what it was like there, like on a daily basis. What kind of things you did, how tell me all about it.
I think as kids, we just did regular stuff, play basketball, run around, play manhunt, different games, cops and robbers. We didn't really know that there was like bad stuff going on around us, because we're just like living, having, just seeing our friends go through stuff, but we're thinking it's regular. Not till like I left the area and I realized, oh, this is not other people's reality. So
right.
Did regular stuff though, just played around, had fun, run around the complexes, just did stuff that kids do.
And you have siblings, right?
Yeah, I have one sister.
One sister.
Yeah.
And your mom tell us what it was like living with your mom in those kind of circumstances.
It was good. It was good. She was always involved, seeing me. Like, there's a basketball net right in front of my house, so we used to play there every morning. My mom would just see, she could keep her eye on me. So my mom would always the window, come inside when it's late, and the whole complex kind of just knew me from just being who I am, just trying to just be a stand-up person. So I always be outside. My mom, she's really well known in the complex, so
right.
Miss her.
Actually, I know what that's like. I grew up in a similar type situation in Scarborough, and the basketball court was right outside of my building, and that's how Mom kept an eye on us too. She would be just looking down, and once the shout out, everybody knew to disappear because she was coming.
Same thing over here. Everyone knew, like, it's time to go. His mom called, so everybody knew. So, see me, definitely you see me. No way you can miss me in the complex. I was always running out everywhere. So,
right. And you had a lot of friends growing up in the area, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I've been everywhere. Basketball was a passion of mine, still is, but running around and going to different courts around the neighborhood from different buildings, and so I would see a lot of people, just experiencing different people in the area, in a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you as kids. Cameron my son used to compete against you guys. We used to coach against you. It was a blast. It was a good time though.
100%. Yeah, I remember that. Those days, I kind of wish you could get those back now.
Yeah, right. So tell us about your travels and your education, some of the things that you did after you finished school.
Well, I went to a school in Kansas called Northwest Kansas Tech. I went to a junior college out there. So I went there for 2 years. And it was like a different experience because you're playing with Americans, and it's kind of like a dog world. You're going in there, you're competing for your spot. Everybody's trying to go to Division 1, trying to win a scholarship on top of the scholarship you already have. So it's like an eye opener. So just kind of just the discipline you need to have over there to like stay there. It's a different type of.
So yeah, and then after that you went to St. FX, right?
FX, and that's and me just go together. That was amazing. Yeah.
What was it like out there?
It was a different experience. I came from a small town at the school I was at before, so St. FX was kind of a small town, but like had a reputation for like school spirit. So being around everybody else and how they like interact with everybody was like kind of like an eye opener. It's like, oh, I like it over here than where I was before. So I kind of like the culture that they had over there, and I kind of got like indulged in that. So
so now from that you came back home.
Yeah.
And life seemed to be going okay. What were you doing? What kind of work were you doing?
I was working at the Boys and Girls Club, East Scarborough, with the kids. So I worked like, I want to say that 2 years. Kids community, like even like coaching their teams, the basketball team there with the kids and stuff. So I was trying to just give back because they helped me out. They definitely helped me out when I was younger. So help younger kids and just speak to them as much as I can, because I've seen the lens. I see the world through their lens before. So I just try to relate to them and tell them like what possibly can happen. We're living in the area that we live in and what you have to be ready for. So
so now COVID is happening last year, and a lot of things seem to be going. People are locking down. Things are going astray. Things are a bit quiet, and then your life changed. Tell us a little bit about what happened. What happened?
Well, before the situation, I want to say I was just doing regular stuff. I worked with immigration. So I started working with immigration downtown. So we're working remotely because of COVID. So I have a routine, go to the gym, work out, like back and forth. And then on September 24th, coming home from the gym, I had to go pick up a laptop from a friend's house because I have my recording software on there. So I just went to go. This is probably like I made this trip probably a million times in my life. So pick it up. I called his phone and he wasn't answering. And a car came and made a U-turn and shot 17 times. I got hit twice. Got hit in my stomach and through my hips. So yeah, I hit the floor like emphatically. I remember the night I was watching myself hit the floor. Like I can remember it. That for the grace of God, I'm here, so I can't even complain.
So you're walking down the streets and then bullets rang out.
Yeah.
And you feel something hit you.
Yeah.
What's that like? Like, I mean, how do you stay up? How do you maintain? Like, what happened? Yeah.
I feel like I remember when the first bullet hit me, because the car stopped. When the car stopped, they came out shooting. So I get the first shot and the second shot going down. So I hit the floor. And I'll remember like a survivor's mentality, like I'm not trying to die. Like not now. So I remember pulling myself away. And I just remember telling myself, like, nah, it's not how I'm trying to go out. With the grace of God, he gave me the power to keep running. So my legs got numb at first, but I kept pushing through. So I had like the ability to sprint around the corner and I got away. But I just remember telling myself when I got hit, like, nah, this is not how I'm trying to end my story. So I had to calm down, relax, and trying to look. If I panicked, it would have went way worse. So try not to panic.
Right. So you got home. Did you get home?
I got close. I got to a neighbor's house that's close to my house. So I just kind of ran inside their house, and they were kind of taken off guard. They're like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm like, "I'm not nobody bad. I happened to get shot. Can you call the ambulance?" And they kind of like did to me. They put they kind of put pressure on my wounds, and after that, it was like, oh, headed to the ER after that.
So you got 2 bullets in you, and you maintain your composure enough to kind of tell them what happened and go through it like that.
Yeah, when I got the first hit, I remember like hitting the floor, and I'm like, if I go any more left, they're still shooting, so they're still aiming at the car. So I just I have to pull myself, and I know my complex. I ran through here a million times in my life. I know the back ways everywhere, so I pull myself away. Then my first tried to push up off the floor, my legs gave out, so I skipped up my knee. Then another push up off the floor, and then I tucked like I'm holding a football. Started sprinting, And I was still dropping and tripping at the time, but I'm like, once I get around the corner, everything's gonna be okay. Let me get around the corner. So I felt like that moment, I kind of felt like it was like a deeper battle between light and dark. Not like there was nothing, not even the shooter. It's just light and dark. It wasn't even about me. It was about, you know, like you kind of feel that when you, and I really pray. I pray a lot. So I kind of felt that, like, okay, you're gonna be okay. Like someone kind of telling me, someone like that was there that night.
Right.
That long. So
you never lost consciousness at any time?
Nah. Probably till I got, when they put the anesthesia in me, when I got in the hospital. That's when yeah, but like that, I stayed awake the whole time. I just told myself I gotta stay awake. I kind of felt the tingling feeling, but I'm like, nah, I gotta stay awake. Like I have. If I don't stay awake, I go all wrong. So
now this is remarkable, because at that point last year, there's so much going on with Black Lives Matter, with you know, the restrictions of the pandemic. You have just a multitude, and I also understand that you had some family members that were ill through COVID, and one may have passed away.
Yeah, I had my aunt and my half brother that I have, like, he passed away. Yeah, during COVID. So like they probably at the beginning of COVID. So they both passed away back to back. So like it's been a hard time for my family. So I've been staying around them, staying close to them, because, you know, my dad, I was his son and his sister, so kind of hard on them. So just trying to just be strong for them. And then my dad, he went into Sunnybrook 2 weeks before me, for like a liver surgery. So like I just took him out. We just been, you know, pushing through, trying to stay strong, because, you know, if you can go through, you can get through it. So kind of look at life like that.
Right. That's an amazing approach and outlook at life. Yeah. I mean, you know, a lot of people could really learn from that, and, you know, particularly in the last year with the challenges as people are having, you know, people tend to look at their lives and they're saying, well, geez, how tough things are. But, you know, looking at your story and what's happened to you over in the last year, that is amazing that you have the faith, first of all, and the belief in God, and whatever else that's kept you going and brought you through. So now, you know, now you're in the hospital. How long did you stay there?
I want to say for a month. So in the hospital for like a month.
Wow.
After that, probably the second day in the hospital, because like they rerouted stuff and they forgot to clean out stuff, and then it just had me like feeling way worse than I did when I first got in there. So
wow.
Yeah, I got sick, and then they kind of figured out what was wrong with me, like probably like the week after. Then they kind of felt better after that.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit then. While you were in the just before you got to the hospital, and did you have any interaction with the police or anybody? I mean, so the police wasn't called?
Yeah, the police were called when I first got inside. When I was injured, they came. They were the first people to come. So they assessed my wounds, trying to see what was wrong with me, trying to figure out why I was shot. Right. And after, from talking to the people that came out of my complex that were speaking to him, they're like, this guy minds his own business. Like, he just goes to work, comes back. Everybody knows him since I was a kid, so they know that I wasn't involved in anything. So after the police kind of got that just from it, they stopped asking me questions. Like,
right. Okay. Because I was gonna say, what was your interaction with the police like? How was how did they address you? Were they cool? Were they, you know?
At first, I guess they were kind of like not hostile. Just wanted to know, like, why you, like, well, how come you got shot? So they're just kind of asking me that. Then they kind of got a gist of how the way I was reacting to them. Like, this kid has no parts of what's going on, so they could kind of like tell. But at first, they were kind of hostile, because for being from the area, the shootings like every other week here, so you just never know. So they get that call, they kind of think it's another story, but it's kind of different this time.
Yeah. Okay. So that is tough, man. I'm still blown away by it. And so here you are, fast forward, you're in the hospital, you're spending time in there, you go through surgery. How many surgeries have you had? I
had I want to say 2. I had 2 surgeries and a couple procedures. So like every week was like a different procedure, trying to like kind of like fix up my body, just fix up everything. Yeah.
And now, what were you doing while, you know, a month in the hospital? What was going through your head? What were you thinking at the time?
think at first I was trying to make sense of everything, like, you know, because go through a traumatic situation, like your whole world's in a whirlwind. So I was trying to just figure out like why. But I stopped asking why probably like the second week, trying to figure out like, see, I'm always been a big believer like seeing past stuff. Like, so like this is happening, but you're gonna have to move on. While you're still here, you get a chance to keep running. So I was in there just trying to keep my mind going and thinking I'm not healed, but like kind of feel myself as healed. So when my body could kind of react to that. So I was in there, like I couldn't walk and stuff for probably like a whole month. I couldn't walk. So that was like, I was just walking perfectly fine before. So I was going through my growing pains in there, but yeah, I was just kind of just making sense of everything, which I really couldn't, but I was just kind of trying to just understand. Yeah.
Yeah, someone just mentioned, Maxine, she said, your story is incredible. You need to write a book. God ain't finished working on you yet. That's amazing. And that's so true. Like, I mean, whenever you tell me this story, I'm sitting here thinking, you know, but by the grace of God, Josiah, it could be just about anyone.
Yeah.
And so now you tell me you're in the hospital, you're thinking, did revenge ever come to your mind? Did you ever think, damn, if I ever find whoever that did this to me, change the pendulum of my life? What were you thinking?
I think at first a lot of that was going through my mind, because being from this area, you do have friends that grew up and are involved in the wrong thing. So right. that kind of like went through my mind a bit. But after a while, like just me praying through prayer, just kind of just kept me just to understand, like I have to let God do what he's supposed to do, whatever it is. Like my war is not with them, you know? So I just, even though it happened to me, and that wouldn't do, revenge would just put me in a life that I've been running away from my whole life. So right. I've been seeing it. I ran from it my whole life. So me just doing that would be like all that years of hard work of being myself to just be revengeful of somebody that hurt me. Wouldn't do nothing for me. Just dig me a grave for me and them. So doesn't do anything for me. So kind of look at it like that.
Right. Yeah. So they said when the forgiveness, have you forgiven? Do you think have you forgiven? If we were to walk in today and say, okay, here are the guys that let off on you, would you forgive them?
I feel like day by day, I'm getting to that point. I feel like day by day, I'm getting to that point, and as this, the more prayer and the more time I'm trying to like just understand that the situation is like bigger than me, I feel like forgiveness is getting there. I feel like I'm very close to like just fully forgiving them. I think I do forgive them, you know, because I won't be able to heal if I don't. Like that anger build up in you every day, it will do nothing for you. So
right,
I understand. I've seen a lot of people. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people that revenge push them over the edge, and I feel like from that example, like it doesn't do anything else but lead you somewhere you don't want to be.
Right. Yeah. They say when the forgiven ends, or when the forgiven starts, then life begins. Right. So that's awesome. That's a great outlook. And anybody that's listening tonight, I just wanted to make sure that people really get an understanding of how this has impacted your life. You're at the prime of your life, and all of a sudden, something like this happens. It affects your whole world. It affects your mom. You told me a little bit about your mom and how it affected her. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Can you share with the viewers?
Yeah, my mom's been through a lot this year, with even my dad being in the hospital, and my dad's sister passing away, and she's a lot of family traumas has been going on with her. But she's been so strong. So even seeing me in that position, me being so well fit, like I'm eating well, everything is good, and then to see her baby just laying in the thing, like kind of lifeless, where I can't really move. And when I really got sick, she was looking at me. She's like, "I've never seen you like that lifeless before." Right. And just to see, like, it's kind of like, and she just had to kind of build strength off of me. So when I was getting better, I was kind of telling her, like, I'm getting better, like, I'm here, and I'm here for a reason. Like whatever reason it is, I can't understand. We're trying to figure it out together, but she's building strength we're building strength off of each other. So it's kind of like helping us out both. So
that's great. Kind of feed off of each other's strength. That's great. You have to uplift each other. Thank you so much for sharing that. So now, I mean, it is great. What I always go back to, and I'm thinking, I know our community and how it is. Sometimes something happens, and then all of a sudden people are looking at you with different eyes. right? They're trying to
100%.
find out, dig deeper and say, you know, what did he have to do with this, or those kind of things. Have you experienced any of that?
Yeah, 100%. And I guess I was hearing stuff from a lot of close families and friends thinking that I was involved in stuff that was gang related, that I've been a part of a gang. But if you know my heart or you know me, you know I operate, and I've been staying clear of that my whole life. So it's just, yeah, see, that's the question there. So it's just been yeah, that's a question, right? How is
Yeah, if you were asked a
how's the
question,
outlook on my life?
how's it
This
changed your life?
changed?
Yeah. Your
Okay,
outlook on life. How's it changed the outlook on
honestly,
your life?
I feel like I've been understanding like this life is short, so we're here, and to make your impact, you have to just believe in yourself. So I guess when I was in the hospital, every time I go back for like checkups or anything, and I'm always in there like they're doing blood work, I feel like a surge of energy. Like now I have to do what I want to do and make it how I want to make it to make my impact. However the impact is, like if it's telling some other kids about the story that's I've been through, or trying to help people out, or pushing with my music, it's like I just get like a surge of energy. So my outlook on life is just like you can do whatever you want to do. Like we're just holding ourselves back. Like once you're done, it's done. So I sitting down there being lifeless and just wanting to just get up and walk and breathe. Like what can't you do? I see my body go through like a whole bunch past 7 months. So I can't stop. So I just have to just go hard at whatever I'm doing. So
Yeah, that's a great
so kind
outlook,
of my
man.
outlook.
That is solid. You know, a lot of people, you know, they sat down, particularly like I said, over the last year, and they're feeling sorry for themselves, or in some cases, the depression and the outlook on life is so dim. And you know, obviously there are reasons behind it. We've seen a surge in people with, you know, that are having challenges. So what would you say to those people? I mean, what would you say to them? Because I understand what it's coming from, but we also have there are different levels of strength that people have. How would you help to uplift someone right now that are going through things? It may not necessarily be taking a bullet like you, Superman, but somebody that's going through something that, you know, that's really getting them down. They're having a tough go at it. What do you say to them?
Well, I've been saying lately, like the good and the bad, like it's everything is necessary. So I feel like you won't be able to experience the good if there's no bad. So
Yeah.
you wouldn't know how like valuable that goodness is or that happiness is if there was nothing like that bad that happened to you. Like you would understand like how grateful you should be for it. So I kind of understand like, and the bad doesn't last forever. So once you get that in your head, just know that like that there's a chance of happiness, and you're gonna appreciate it so much more when you get it. So just don't like lose faith of that. Don't lose sight in that. Like, so I tell people all the time, like, just the bad's gonna happen, but there has to be good. It can't just be all bad the whole time. Like, and that goodness you'll appreciate so much. You might even shed a tear, but it is
Right.
what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's a very good outlook, man. You gotta, you know, it is a challenge, and I understand. I think in the last year, what I try to say is that you know, obviously people are social beings, and we're always missing something. So people can be tired, but they can also be exhausted, and there's a difference. When you're extremely tired, you can repair that through rest. However, when the exhaustion comes from, I think, the fact that we're isolated, being social beings, we're isolated, and that friendly hug or welcoming from someone that you care about, or somebody that you work with, or the interaction with human beings, that what we're missing sometimes. And I think that certainly has a lot to do with people's, you know, some of the reasons why people are so down. But you know, hearing someone like you and what you've gone through and have lived through and perseveres through, it is amazing to see that kind of resilience. So tell us a little bit now about some of the fun things. Like, were you writing when you were in the hospital? Were you writing music?
Yeah, when I was in the hospital, I had two phones at the time. My dad's phone, and then like my other phone's kind of broken, but like I can play like instrumentals off of it. So I had my voice note, and I'll just voice note stuff just to get off my chest, because music is a form of expression. So I was just in hospital. It would make me feel better. Like me just, sometimes I can't really say what I'm saying, but like when I do it in like a melodic way or I sing it, it kind of helps me express myself better. So I was in the hospital, laying over in the bed, just with one phone in the hand, singing voice notes. My nurses are confused, like, what is this guy doing? But it honestly just giving me peace at the time, like making me feel like the situation is not as bad as it is. So
another question here. Very wise words and wisdom, Gavin. Spread and share your words whenever you can. That's so nice. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Good. So I know I kind of put you on the spot. Anything you want to share in terms of your lyrics, what you may want to share that you may have written, or anything coming down the pipe?
Well, honestly, I think I wrote this song in there called "Normalizing Pain," and I feel like a lot of people in my situation, like, they normalize pain, like with being where I'm from, like, see a lot of traumatic situations. So like you kind of like normalize it in your eyes, because have you seen a friend that got shot, somebody that died? It's just, well, it happens, because we be from here, you see it happen so much, people are kind of like numb to it. So I wrote a kind of song called "Normalizing Pain." So like it's just like a lot of people normalizing the situation, which pain is to you is your pain. So you can't I'm not never normalize your pain. Like me getting shot to your traumatic situations could feel the same to you. So I don't ever judge you. I just, I know my pain, and I take my pain for how it is. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of people normalized my situation while it happens. I had to kind of write like a little song about it. So
right,
kind of just it made me feel a little better.
Good. That's awesome, man. Like we draw from so many different sources.
Yeah.
When not only when bad things, obviously, as you said, music being that expression, we draw from all these different sources to either uplift, to get us through something, to help us lift to different heights. It's always a phenomenon to see how different people do things. So we're coming close to the end, and I wanted to ask a few more questions. So tell me now, if you had to, you're on a musical journey, and you're trying to do your thing from a musical expression. What kind of music do you do? Is it just rap? You sing?
Kind of like a mixture of both. I have stuff on Apple Music and Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and then my name is Greez185. So like GR2EZ185. It's just like I kind of do both, like kind of singing and rapping, kind of just in a melodic way.
Right. Okay. Let me maybe put that up on the screen for you. And what is your handle?
It's GR2EZ185.
Just like that?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That is fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much, Gavin, for joining me tonight. And, for those who are out there, if you have any questions, this is the time you can fire away some questions. Maybe Gavin would while he's here, maybe love to answer some of your questions. Otherwise, we're going to say goodnight for the night, but let's give him a few minutes to see if anyone has any other questions. Have some really good users tonight that are logging in and piping in, saying hi to you. Yeah, they're very encouraging, and I'm sure your story is very encouraging to others as well. So what we'll do is we'll save this, and we'll send it to you so you can pin it and show it to some of your other people on your social media.
Okay.
And and I'll encourage as many of them as possible to kind of pipe in, and if there's any support with your music online, if they can. So thanks again. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, Chad. Thank you.
Okay. So another episode of Ched Talks complete. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you really liked it, please like, share, any comments that you'd like to have. If you have other additional questions, please feel free to go on my webpage, share on my Instagram, my Facebook. I'm always here. If you have any particular subjects that you'd like to cover, I'm always willing to discuss. We have some great guests that we're going to be bringing to you in the message of resilience and the message of sharing that impactful story that may be able to help you or somebody that you know, somebody you love. Gavin's story really touched me because I've known that kid for a long time. That man, he's my son's age, and I used to coach with and against them. And we had a phenomenal competitive environment, but I always saw that he grew to be a very respectful and a very great man. And I hated to see that happen to him. But at the same time, I got inspired from what he's gone through and how he just went through it like a superhuman. And so to me, that is fantastic. So, let's encourage. Let's join me again next week when we're going to go live again, 7 p.m. on Wednesday. I have another fantastic guest that will share some of his story of resilience. So tune in. Thank you again for joining, and good night.